Good morning, everyone. Here's your Eastern Idaho weather and hazard briefing for the last Friday here in October. And we're watching for a quick change coming through today and tonight across much of the central and eastern Idaho area anyway. That's going to create a little bit of a breeze this afternoon and this evening. After that, high pressure's back, and we're going to have to watch that building. We'll probably see some form of valley inversions heading into early next week. Right now, it's really kind of hard to gauge how much of an issue we're going to see with that, especially with temperatures in the overnight hours and any type of lingering smoke for anybody that's doing some prescribed burning out there in our area. But there might be an even bigger pattern change coming on the horizon, one that basically flips the script on the weather we're expecting over the next few days after today. We got those winds kicking up this afternoon. We're still expecting a few showers up along the Montana border, Lost Trail Pass, there along the border with Ravalli County. Otherwise, maybe a shower or two as far south as Stanley and Galena Summit, but that's a really low chance. Also over around Island Park as well. For tomorrow afternoon and evening, it's going to be chilly across the area, so make sure you're bundled up if you're going to be out and about. And then as we go into the early part of next week, those inversions trying to form across the valley locations, especially with more of the shelter, the smaller valleys where those inversions will be a little bit stronger than the other parts of our area. Here's that storm we've been talking about that's going to clip the divide today, shift off to the south and to the east in the next 24 hours. But you already see high pressure rebuilding out across the Gulf of Alaska, portions of the northern Pacific Ocean. That is going to be the control there for the next 2 or 3 days once we get past tomorrow. So we talked about this little wave coming through and maybe a few showers. And you'll notice for this afternoon, most of those showers, like we said, up towards Lost Trail Pass and such, maybe sneaking as far south as Salmon, but they really should be confined along the Montana-Idaho border there in that area. Otherwise, things really fizzle out this evening, and not much is expected else in terms of precipitation. That pattern we're talking about developing, and you can see our wave shifting to the east through tomorrow morning. There's high pressure overhead. It's going to be strongest going into Monday morning and Tuesday morning across the area, but then you start to see things shifting a bit. We've got an area of low pressure well out of the Pacific at this particular time. Initially, it's going to force the flow to be pretty strong out of the west, so those winds will be increasing for the latter half of next week. That is for sure. We could see some mountain showers over the central mountains and around Island Park by as early as Wednesday. The better chances come as we watch that low moving into the Pacific Northwest across the northern Rockies as we get into Friday night and Saturday. So for the forecast for the next few days, looking at those winds for today, this morning they'll be picking up across the ridge tops in the central mountains. We might also have some gap winds across coming out of the southern and the southeastern highlands into the Snake Plain. But you see for this afternoon, some areas 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts, higher in some of those mid and upper slope areas in the central mountains. We're talking some of those gusts hitting 40, maybe just a little bit higher later this afternoon. And those gusts will continue into the evening hours. Winds pick back up again, spreading a little farther into the Arco Desert, the INL area, with some gusts around 35 miles per hour or so. But those gusts will pretty much be gone as soon as the sun sets, and then decreasing overnight, except some lingering winds across the Magic Valley into the Snake Plain and into the South Hills and Albion Mountains, and also down towards McCammon as well. For this afternoon, temperatures not too bad across the area, 65 in Pocatello. Some places into the Magic Valley may be approaching 70 degrees this afternoon. For tonight, a little bit cooler across the area in some places. Status quo, especially across portions of the Snake Plain. You can see how much cooler it is tomorrow. In some places, 10 to 15 degrees cooler. But we talked about that not lasting very long, at least for some of the lower elevations. Quickly warming up as we go into the valley, 60s into a lot of the valley locations on Sunday. And by this time, this is when we're going to have to start watching the forecast a little bit more as we head into next week, just to see how strong those inversions are. But temperatures holding pretty steady in the 60s in the lower elevations, some 40s and 50s up in the mountains, and that trend will continue until we get to about Wednesday. We start to level off just a bit, maybe cooling off in some locations as well, especially up into the central mountains. So once again, it's going to be breezy this afternoon, this evening, high pressure, potential for increasing valley inversions for the first part of next week, and then things likely changing for the cooler and more wet by the end of next week, about a week from now, basically. Have a great day. Have a great weekend as well, everyone. Please stay safe out there.